Nothing quite explains how much you like something, whether it be a piece of gear as presented before you, or a food, or even a person, as much as time does. Time shows how much you like something or someone simply because you choose to keep them around and let them be part of your life and let them have some presence that affects your life in some great way or another. And for me, this piece has decided to stay in my life despite my obvious, if you follow my Instagram, my obvious enjoyment for this guy, my Chris Reeve small Sebenza. Just absolutely smooth, so beautiful, titanium. But yet, to be totally honest, this thing, every time I pull it out and drop it in my pocket, it fights my pocket time for the next couple days against my Sebenza. I have since sold my regular 940. I've gotten rid of my Sage. My mini Griptilian is also left. So essentially I'm only down to the 3 knives now. The Dash 1, my Sebenza, and my Delica. These 3 of which are never going to leave my possession unless I absolutely have to let them go. But this is Asian Kyle, guys, kind of bringing you an update video to my original 940-1, which was out several months ago by fan request. So you guys know who you are. Thanks for watching the channel and asking me to keep doing these. But anyway, like I just said, this is more just an update, not an initial impression review anymore as my first one was. But yeah, let's just go and dive into this, and let's kind of start off by talking about the action of this knife. So let me just, it's hard to tell, but I mean, this is barely any pressure at all, guys. I'm not flying the knife open, just little bits of pressure. It just wants to soar straight out of the handle, and I don't personally like my knives to the point where they drop free. But you know, just a little bit of a slight little shake. Oops. And the knife wants to drop. And for me, that's exactly how I like that. Which brings me to a very important point about the 940-1. I've not had to actually drop a whole lot of Loctite into this pivot. I've only done it once actually, and this is not a safe queen type of knife, as you can see here. Let me see if I can zoom in on it just a little bit more for you guys. There we are. As we see here, there is lint and stuff in it. There is some dirt right there, as you can see. This knife does get carried, it does get used, and it doesn't just sit at home. So I actually go out and I do stuff with it. I've gone not quite hiking, but small trail, paved trail, walking type of thing with it, and I've used a little bit on that sort of thing. But the knife just wants to soar right open, and I've not had to drop a whole Loctite into this pivot. I know the original 940, that was a problem that plagued not only my example, but several other people's examples as well, that just the pivots would not stay tight for some reason. So this one is not plagued by that whatsoever. As we kind of move to the blade here, as you see, if you watched my original 940 video, there are these 2 little striations that are still here, and no, those still do not bug me. The knife is so awesome that just little things like that, they disappear as soon as we start looking at everything else. It's just easily overlooked. And yes, I know that my grinds on the top, especially over here, aren't very even, but that's okay too. This one is straight, and for the most part, it doesn't really bother me. One thing that I've been really impressed with this knife actually is the stone washing on it. I've used it, like I said, and over Christmas I actually was shaving logs with it, and not only did the edge hold up very, very well, but so did the stone washing. It's maintaining this really just very crisp, very sharp stone wash, and it's not quite like a Chris Reeve stone washing, since I can't open this up left-handed, where it's super even. It's more of a rough stone wash, and that's okay in my opinion. Doesn't need to be to that level, mainly because you're not paying that amount of money for it. So just the stone wash in this is holding up very, very nicely. So kind of while we're still on the blade here, I have only sharpened this blade once actually, and it was more or less just to sharpen this little portion through here that kind of sees the most amount of wear. And to be totally honest, I just did it a couple times in the sharp maker with the medium rods, only on the triangled side. So sharpening against there, I didn't turn it over to the flats. So I did it on the mediums and I did it on the fines, and that edge is holding up very nicely. Kind of like I suspected whenever I first got the knife. So I still wouldn't recommend letting this knife get too dull. It would be incredibly difficult to sharpen since I've only had to sharpen it once, and it still maintains an incredible edge. Generally what I do, instead of sharpening, I actually pull out the strop. I picked this up on eBay from a homemade seller. No, it's not the most amazing strop, but it does get the job done. So handy little strop. I paid $5 for it. Check it out, guys. Get a strop on eBay, learn to do your stuff, strap up your knives, get them nice and hair popping sharp. So let's kind of move on to the handle here. So let me just shut that guy right there. That's fine. One of my biggest concerns about the handle, it being carbon fiber, was how it would start to wear and tear over time. It's only been about 6 months since I've had this knife, but as we see here, there's no peeling of any sort at all, not even underneath the pocket clip. It's definitely hard to see in there, but no peeling underneath the pocket clip either. I was very concerned that this glossy laminate on top was going to start to peel away like a car bumper, but that's not the case at all. Even on the areas that do see the most traffic, which are through here and definitely through here, rubbing up against stuff, there is no wear and tear at all on this blade. It's absolutely great. They did a great job on the carbon fiber, as I said in my first review, and it's very evenly toned, no divots or anything on either side, and it's just still so light. Blows me away every time. And that's partially due, like I said in my first video, these 3/4 stainless liners that we see here. Great idea, Benchmade, really, especially on something that's as rigid as carbon fiber. You don't need the full stainless steel liner on this. So overall, I'm still just so satisfied with this knife. So I mean, I think the #1 thing that just totally grabs me with this knife is the fact that I don't hardly ever have to sharpen it. And I know I kind of touched on this a little bit with my first initial video, but just due to the structure and how it's made, the vanadium content in it, essentially it forms little ridges, kind of like your fingers, if you were to match them up like that. This is essentially the edge of your knife. It's very rigid, or not rigid, sorry. It's got ridges in it and stuff, but you sharpen those, and as time wears on, you do wear away the softer bits of metal, leaving these little crevices here that are your vanadium. It keeps the knife incredibly sharp for long periods of time, mainly because the vanadium is so tough, but this will not be a knife that I would choose to shave my face with if I happen to miss a spot. And yes, I've done it with both this and my Chris Reeves, so they both take an extremely good edge. This just isn't near as fine. So the only complaint that I still kind of have about it is it's really hard to hear. Let me see if I can actually bring this closer for you to hear. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but whenever I actuate my knife like this, there is just a little bit of grittiness. And that's actually not the pivot at all, because as soon as I pull the axis back, buttery smooth. So that's actually caused by the axis bar rotating along the back of the blade here. I don't know how to get that to go away. It doesn't really bother me that much, but this is something that my 940 did not have, was just this grittiness. It's weird, and I've spent so much time trying to analyze why it would do that, and let's see if I can get in nice and close there for you to see. There we are. Yeah, dirty knife. It's a user, guys, but even after I clean that out, it's still got this gritty texture to it, and I really don't know why. It's bizarre, but here we are some more with this stone washing. It's not a Chris Reeves stone wash, but like I said, that doesn't bother me at all. And here we see the blade itself, or the edge, and it doesn't take the most even grind lines because of course, the vanadium in it. But overall, yeah, it's worn very well over time, guys. So let me just kind of get you a shot of where the pocket clip is. See, no wear and tear. Not even on the pocket clip. This is a knife that I carry several times a week to work, and And I do rub up against things, as everyone does, and there is no wear and tear on this Parker Ice clip. It's really good, especially considering, you know, here with my Chris Reeve, you know, there's a little bit right through here, kind of where I bump into things. And there's a little bit more, kind of right there. There's some more. It's a little difficult to see, but there's this little scratch right there, and definitely over there, and as you see up through here. And this is one thing that I really like about the carbon fiber versus the titanium. I don't baby this knife by any means. I do try and take care of it, but you do see some snail trails on it, and that just happens when you carry something that's metal, and it's unforgiving. So overall, guys, I gotta say I'm very I'm very satisfied with this knife, and come on now, focus. There we are. I'm very satisfied with this knife still. I would highly recommend this to be in anyone's collection, especially if you've already got a 940. You may be thinking that, well, I don't need that fancy carbon fiber thing. The carbon fiber won't hold up, and the edge it'll take too much to sharpen. No, it would take a lot to sharpen the edge, guys, but don't let it get dull. The carbon fiber holds up really well. It's very rigid. I mean, I can't bend this at all, and I know that's up towards where the liners are, but even through here, there's no flex in it whatsoever. So overall, guys, my impressions of this knife are still the same as when I got it. This is a win, absolutely, and I really do enjoy it. It definitely battles my time for pocket carry against my Sebenza, and if you've ever held a Sebenza, you know what I'm talking about. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the two perfect knives for me. So my 940-1 as well as my small Sebenza, they both carry very well. They're very thin in pocket. You get a lot of blade for the handle. They're just very awesome. So anyways, guys, if you haven't picked up one of these yet, I know I've already helped a couple of you spend your money, but really these are very much worth every single penny you pay, and I've only actually known one person who didn't like it. So anyway, guys, this is Agent Kyle signing off, bringing you my updated version of the Benchmade 940-1.